Good afternoon from Kansas City, and welcome to this Hump Day webinar with SeniorVu. My name is Melissa Smith. I'm VP of Communications here. This webinar is Optimize Your Website for Conversions. And our speaker teacher today comes with 10 years of digital marketing experience, 3 of those right here at SeniorVu. Please welcome our VP of Digital Marketing, Billy Daniels.
Hello.
The crowd goes crazy.
I hear them. Yeah.
Yes, they're so excited.
Wow.
So Billy, this is the very thing that I know you work with hundreds of our client communities on frequently.
Strategy.
Right?
Yep.
Strategy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's neat that you're sharing that today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I absolutely love talking strategy with all of our different clients. It's something I'm super passionate about, almost as passionate as I am about golf. So,
well, that's a good sign. If you knew Billy, you'd be like, yeah, this is good. He's all on it.
Yeah. So, as Melissa said, this is some techniques, some ideas that we can do to increase conversion rates on our website, or on your website would probably be the better way to say that. And then, as Melissa said, we're here in Kansas City. SeniorVu was established in 2015. Again in Kansas City, and we've been here ever since. We're not going to move. And here are some of our services that we offer, just a review for some of those that might not be familiar with who we are. And we offer a lead management platform that is actually a piece of software that you can get through the web, through a browser, and you can start to manage your lead. And then part of the leads, not just a lead. That'd be weird if you only had one lead. That'd be terrible. That would not be
a business.
Right. Yeah. But then you also have our marketing automation platform, which we have an extensive background in that, 20 plus years. Tim Donnelly, our CEO, has done a fantastic job of establishing ourselves as a powerhouse in the marketing automation world. And then we also have our FAM team, which is our contact center. They sit right here in-house. I can actually see them from where I am. Hi, FAM team. They're not waving back. But,
I think you need to explain FAM.
FAM, Family Advocate Managers, is what that stands for. They are talking to the prospects and the leads. They are qualifying them, and then they hand them off in a form of a tour majority of the time. But they can also be doing that however the community or our clients would like them to. Different clients have different needs, so we can customize that any way we want to. And then fourth and final, not final, there's another one, but lastly is digital marketing. That is my world. I have a team of 1,000 people. No, I just have a few, but it seems like we're 1,000 sometimes. And then lastly, we do special projects. So any sort of direct mail pieces or creative needs that you might need. Video is some of our biggest things, as you can see, because we're streaming. Actually, we're not streaming. We're just recording this right now. But when we have this great facility that we also will do a shameless plug here of our podcast, Off Your Rocker, a SeniorVu podcast that I host with Melissa. And we talk about all the innovation and technology that's coming in the senior living industry, and have some exciting guests coming up. So super exciting stuff for 2020. If you haven't checked out the podcast, please check it out. And this webinar too. This is a series. We're doing this all the time. So
you can find it all on SeniorVu.com.
SeniorVu.com. Go to the blog, all the blog articles, or everything that we do, the podcast, webinars, any blog articles that we're putting on there are at SeniorVu.com on the blog. So what are you going to be learning today? What you'll be learning is that your website is an untapped resource for leads and move-ins, which is great. A lot of people know that they're generating traffic, but they just don't know how to get them into their CRM or into their sales funnel. What data you should be tracking and collecting. There's tons of great things that you're already doing that you can just utilize and make them better and optimize. What tools are available to help you. And then how to implement a conversion rate optimization strategy. And then lastly, which we've already kind of talked about, is who is SeniorVu and what do we do? So why? Why is this so important? Well, first and foremost, like I said, the majority of the time, communities' websites or companies' websites, it doesn't just have to be a community's website, are a very, very big untapped resource for leads. And why is that? Well, we look at it from a standpoint of a lead to move-in ratio. So a number of leads coming in and how many move-ins come from those leads. Typically what we see from these different sources is Bing being one of the sources that we manage for a lot of our clients is they convert at a 1.48%. Not very good. Not excited about that. Then we start to get into the third-party lead aggregators like Caring. A little bit bigger, a little bit better than Bing. And then Then we bring in a place for mom and a place for mom about 2.84%, which is pretty standard, is what we hear from the standpoint of the aspect that a 3% is all good. And then that's what they typically say that their leads convert at, maybe sometimes 6%. And then lastly, where we see intent majority of the time as highest is the Google Ads side of things. So when you see Google Ads and you know you're doing searching for senior living and all that aspects of different types of care levels, typically they're turning to Google because they need something now. The immediacy is there, and so Google is the place that they turn to. But once they've kind of gotten to where they need to go, you can finally see that our data that we have in our SeniorVu lead management platform showcases that the community's website converts at the highest from a lead to a move-in. So we need to maximize that. So what follows are some techniques that allow you to increase your conversion rates from your website into your CRM and then eventually into a move-in. First and foremost, what I really want everyone to understand is you probably already have a plethora of data that you could just analyze from a different standpoint. Is what data should you be tracking and collecting, or what data do you already have that you can already start to make some assumptions from? And that's kind of what the first step is here, is go ahead and make sure that you are utilizing a platform to track your website. The most common one is Google Analytics, and it's free, which is great. And it's super great. It has a plethora of data points in there. It's already kind of collecting all the demographic information. Yes, you have to turn some of these tools on within the platform, but it's definitely something that you don't have to think too much about. So at that point, you know, utilize Google Analytics to help you visualize some of the things. They have some great reports in there. An exit report allows you to see what pages people are leaving from. And then lastly, you know, you can also do what is called a funnel report. It's a great tool. It's actually a tree mapping tool. It allows you to see where people are engaging on your website, where are they going, how are they getting there, what sources they came from. And it really gives you a great visualization of how people are moving from coming to your website to converting on your website. And sometimes it's sad when we see some of these people that are utilizing their, you know, or not utilizing this data, because we've seen to the point where 95% of a traffic coming to a community's website or a company's website is leaving after seeing one page. And that's just terrible. You don't want to be able to do that. And those are some simple fixes that you can change in your optimization strategy to get people to stay on your website. Another great tool and a free tool as well is Google Tag Manager. And Google Tag Manager was specifically designed to put the power in the marketer's hands. So the marketer can always be in control of what they want to track on the website. That's what it does. It's just a little snippet of code that sits on your website, and then you go into the platform and you start to say, this is what I want to track. It already has some pre-built, not necessarily templates, but tools in there that allow you to say, I would like to do event tracking. Event tracking is where you can say, they clicked on something and it caused this. This is what I want to report into my Google Analytics, which then helps you just create more visualization tools. So, and then lastly, surprisingly, another Google product is Google Data Studio. This is a great tool that comes with a pre-built template that allows you to start to see how your website is performing. It's super easy to use. You can start to build in there and start to build in charts and graphs. And if you haven't gotten into this, to get into it, there's tons of tutorials. There's tons of forums that can help people understand how to build better visualizations so that they can have better optimization techniques and strategies. So moving into some of the things that you can do on your website, and you know, this sounds really simple, ironically, that it's a simple color scheme, but basic is best when it comes to website design and conversions. Is if you're using more than 3 colors on your website, you're probably creating some confusion. What I would highly recommend is follow the 60-30-10 rule. And what that means is pick out your primary colors from, you know, 3 to 4 different colors. We typically have 3 on the SeniorVu website, and we apply them in a 60-30-10 rule, meaning that our primary color, that green you're seeing the most of, is at 60%, and the blue is at 30%, and then the navy is at 10%. You can't really see it in that picture there, but I can guarantee you that there's 30% of the blue. But, and then also, if you do need to do additional colors, use shades and tints of your primary colors. You don't necessarily need to bring in more colors, because that would just be cause confusion. And typically a good design is a basic design. And lastly, I've been preaching this for years, 10 years. I'm now 12, so I've been doing this for 10 years of my life, or 10 out of the 12 years that I've been alive, is function always trumps design. There's no need to overcomplicate anything. And sometimes what is really hard for some people to accept is they like the look and feel of something, but it doesn't perform. And the functionality of something might be ugly, yet it performs. So always remember, function always trumps design in the website world. Next, you want to make sure that your call to actions are clear. You are reducing confusion and setting the expectation. So what does that mean? Make your call to actions stand out. Use contrasting colors. You can see here on the right-hand side of the presentation that this is the SeniorVu website. This is from our homepage on what we do, the different types of services we offer. And you can see it's very clear that our call to action at the bottom of that section is schedule a tour. Or schedule a demo. And I'm sorry, I'm getting my community websites and our SeniorVu websites confused. But we're setting the expectation that if they click on that button, what they're going to do is be prompted to fill out some information to schedule a demo, or they're going to be shown a calendar where they can select where and when they would like to schedule their own demo. Super simple, and make sure that your purpose and your call to actions are, in a line. Don't make sure that your page is what you want it to be doing, and that your call to action matches what that page's purpose is. And I want to be clear here, I'm not saying don't have secondary call to actions. Just don't let your secondary call to actions take away from your primary call to actions. There's definitely a need to have different ways for leads to engage once they have hit your website, but make sure you are setting aside some time to discuss with your web team or your marketing team that you have a clear purpose for every page and call to action. So, and like I said, make sure it has a purpose, the last page. So, or the pages that you're showcasing too.
Billy, can you give us an example of what might be a good secondary call to action
absolutely.
for a community?
Absolutely. So a good secondary call to action could be an example of download some resources. So a PDF or something that could provide them with additional information, and maybe you gate that content. Maybe you don't, but clearly on your page, you're wanting to collect as much information as you possibly can, but you also might want to be providing some resources for them to maybe help them make this decision. So you could create an area of resources for people to either click to download or provide an email address and to download, and then you begin to progressively profile them through your CRM or lead management tool. Great question. This is an oldie but a goodie. Keep everything above the fold. It's give the people what they want. Stop playing hide and go seek with your content. If you want them to engage with you, show them where to engage. Stop hiding things. But make sure when you're doing this that you're looking at it from a design standpoint of a mobile and desktop. Those are two drastically different types of devices that people can engage with your website on, and make sure that you're designing differently for them. And then once you have done the design, test it yourself. Don't rely that the dev team or the website team, or maybe the team that doesn't even exist at your company, your third-party provider for your website, test it out. Make sure it's functioning the way you want to. Take a step back and engage with it as if you were a consumer. Try to be open-minded, or close your mind off that you know this company or not. Specifically on desktop, try to eliminate as much scrolling as you can. You don't want to have content. You don't want to have pages that scroll forever. That doesn't really apply to your blog posts. You can kind of have longer pages on your blog, but when you're trying to get pages that convert, content pages, landing pages, eliminate the scrolling. Again, stop playing hide and go seek with your information. Allow people to engage with you. Don't hide it from them. This rule does not apply as much to mobile. And why is that? Because social media has drastically changed how we engage with websites or communities or companies, because they're holding it and they're using their thumb to scroll. And we sit there and we all do it. That's why all of us have giant thumbs now, is one of the reasons. But, and then, on that, when you're looking at a mobile, create what are called tap targets. What exactly is a tap target? It's ways for people to engage with your content by tapping on it. And it's like a click to call. Like if you look at the landing pages that we build for our clients, we create call to actions that are drastically different on a mobile device, and we allow them to click, and then it automatically is dialing to our call center. If you're not doing this, it's easy solutions, or you can provide information, contact us now, but make it big enough so that they don't have to, use their fingers to make the screen bigger so they can finally click on it. This is 2020. I think we should all embrace the fact that mobile devices are not going away. Let's start designing more and more for them. I already kind of preached to it a little bit about click to call, CTAs, super simple, specifically on mobile devices, is, eliminate the barrier to allow people to call you. And one of those ways is to create these click to call buttons specifically on your website. They're on their mobile device. They're on their mobile device. Make sure the call to action is simple for them to engage with. And then I really like this idea is if you have things that people are engaging with on your website, put them where they can engage with them. Put them at the top of the page. There's no reason to hide this information that people are looking for. Specifically, pricing is a big thing right now. Should we be showing pricing? Should we not be showing pricing? Social proof. Is your community clean? Do people enjoy it? Putting pictures on there, and then reviews. People are going to find this information or continue to look for this information. If you can't see it, or if they can't see it, they're going to just leave. And so you need to be putting this information on your website in an easy way for them to find it, above the fold. Then here's another great one. And some of these you might be sitting here thinking like, gosh, these are so elementary or rudimentary, but these are really good things that we have to test our copy as an industry, and we got to break this nursing home stigma. The current generation is focusing on the fact that they have grown up knowing that things are called a nursing home, and that's not what this industry is about anymore. The care levels that this industry is offering, the amenities at the communities, their brands, their culture, we need to be showcasing this. So in your copy, showcase it. Write like you speak. Avoid confusing words. Now, a mission statement is a great thing to put on your website, but it's not the greatest way to advocate what your community or the care levels that you offer are. So don't use confusing words that really kind of mean nothing to people of you're just showcasing. Look at Apple, what they've done on their website. Look at other examples of, they simplified the process to make sure that they're avoiding this confusion. This is what we offer. This is what we do. Do you like it? Yes or no? Engage with us. That you don't. And like I say, less is typically more. Get to the point. Don't go. Fluffy content doesn't help. Yes, you have to meet some SEO type of things to make sure that your pages are ranking. But at the same time, it's 300 words on a page. That's not hard to do. So just avoid putting too much on there and make sure that it is not confusing the consumer. And then lastly, simple converts. It is, to the point, concise, and people, that's what they want to do. If they can't find the answer, they're going to leave your website. Give them the answer. Oh, I love this one. This is probably my favorite in this presentation is live chat. Timing is everything when it comes to live chat, when to engage with them or when they should be engaging with you. And this is the thing with live chat is if someone comes to your site, why not wait? Why are you waiting to engage with them? With live chat, you could put a pop-up modal that says, hey, got any questions? Love to talk to you. You're engaging them first. Yeah, that might seem a little intrusive, but it's not. We're in the world where that's kind of the norm now, is the expectation is you're there to help them. Go ahead and let them know that you're there. Let them feel good. Wrap a blanket around them. Say, hey, got any questions? I'm here to help. So, and then once, if they don't engage, it's still there. They can interact with the live chat on their terms, and it puts them in control. I love that. That's the thing that I love about this. It makes them, they are in control. I don't want to say they feel in control. That's what I was about to say, but it really is putting them in control. They can ask the questions. They can get out of the chat if they want to. And then beyond that, you're going to allow this lead to qualify themselves and stop consuming valuable sales time from your sales and marketing team. Wouldn't that be great if your leads could be pre-qualified when they got to your community, or you knew something about them, you knew who their father or their mother were or what they were struggling with? Gosh, that'd be great. And then, live chat is one of those things that is 24 hours a day. Yes, you might not have people that are answering the chats all the time, but at least they can submit their questions and you can get back to them. And typically what we see is down funnel conversion rates are much higher when they come from live chat. Why is that? Again, it's because they've already had their questions answered on the website, and they're kind of moving from the awareness stage in the buying process to the consideration stage. So where they're kind of already evaluating, is this the right fit for my mother, my father, or myself? I don't know why I'm always saying my mother or my father, but it could be for themselves. You never know. So, and then this is kind of fun. I grew up in, doing a lot of coding and grew up. that was funny. I've done a lot of coding through the email marketing, and dynamic content was something I'm very passionate about, something we do very well here at SeniorVu. But I think dynamic content, what it really means is changing. It's going beyond just saying someone's first name, which I think is hilarious, this little subtitle here. Go beyond the first name. It's dynamic content as it seems in sort of, location detection, and, customizing the landing page or where they are on your website may be specific to where they are. Could you create a map functionality to where, they're looking and they're currently at their workplace or where their business, and they're like, gosh, I need to get mom or dad or myself to someplace, and wow, this place is only 15 minutes away from my work. That's great. I can pop over whenever I want. And it kind of takes that aspect of them feeling like they're not necessarily doing something bad, but it reframes the conversation that it's really not as bad. It's easy to get over. 15 minutes isn't that much of your day. That's less than your lunch hour. For those that are really good at math, can figure that out, that an hour is greater than 15 minutes. And then, another thing here is search terms. If you're collecting the search terms or you're passing those in to your website, start to build different landing pages based on those search terms. Are they looking for pricing? We'll show them pricing. Move content to the top of the page, which is relating to the words that they're searching online. Or, returning visitors versus first-time visitors. Again, some of these seems really easy, but, we're not a lot of people are doing this. And so someone that is returning to your website is already familiar with your brand, and versus someone who is coming for the first time. You really need to, let the first time visitor know who you are, what you do, what your culture is, what your brand is about, maybe your mission statement. But then these returning visitors who have already been familiar with your content, you need to think of it in the context of what is the next step for them. What do I need to provide for them so that they'll go to the next step? So typically, that starts to hinge around, can they afford it? And so you need to start embracing the fact that maybe you need to offer some affordability, or talking them through that. The second, maybe they engage with chat and you have a chat bot that is saying, well, not necessarily getting into the assets, but, having a conversation to the fact that it's more affordable than you think and more people can afford it. So, and then lastly, on the dynamic content, a lot of you are probably working with maybe an affiliate type marketing, or where your referrals are coming from different sources or something like that. You're going to know that source that they're coming from, or if you're not, you should set it up so that you do via URL parameters. Those are parameters that can be passed in terms of what the referral source is, or maybe the campaign. We'll start to change that page. They came from a certain place on the internet. Speak to that. Let them know, hey, thanks for coming from yada yada website. We're really excited that you made your way over and would love to have a conversation with you. Don't shy away from some of these things. Embrace it, that people are yearning to be heard, and that they want to know that you're listening. Streamlining forms, 1, 2, 3 fields. How many fields do we need? No one really knows, and the only person that can really answer that is your community or your company. And how are you going to answer that? You're going to answer that from testing. The best thing you can do is collect the easiest information up front. Don't overwhelm them with a huge form. As you can see on the right hand side here, we have a four field form. I guess you could maybe say it's 6 if you're talking about the events, but we're not asking a lot of information up front. But we could also do this in a different type of manner. We could start to ask try multi-step forms. A multi-step form is an aspect of where you kind of start to progressively profile somebody through that. Or the greatest thing, which I didn't even put on here, and I wish I would have put on here, is creating a survey that, is question based of, are you looking for your mother or your father? Are you looking for yourself? And they start to answer these. And so, well, what's most important to you? And you give them these answers. And then at the end of it, you ask for their information, and it's less intrusive of, they kind of feel like they're being listened to. They are being listened to. And it's a great way to kind of make them feel welcomed, that you're different, you're setting yourself apart. And there's tons of third-party tools out there that you can use to do this. And then also on your forms, being different on desktop and mobile is really key. There's nothing more aggravating, and we already talked about this a little bit, of the tap targets, of being able to not be able to fill out a form. The biggest no-no that we see all the time is, have you ever clicked into the phone number field and the keypad doesn't show up? That's so infuriating. That's something that's a simple coding step. And if you're using someone's form that can't do that, get away from them. Go somewhere else to where the form can be, easier for someone to engage with, because you'd be surprised at how much that is going to actually increase your conversion rate. Just that alone. Even on the email one, this aggravates me when the @ symbol doesn't show up on my keyboard. Why is it on the second keyboard? I'm clicking into the email field. I have to put @ in there. Why are you not having it there? So, and then I think this is a progressive thinking, is try to add maybe a value proposition after a first step on a multi-step form or a progressive form of, could you offer something? Say, they've given you your first name, last name, that maybe they've told you that they're looking for their mother or their father or their grandparents. Well, maybe let them know at that point that it could be, hey, if you come by, lunch is on us. We'd love to provide you. We'd love to just have a talk. Get them to take that next step. You don't have to give them the world. You don't necessarily have to give them a discount. Maybe you could. Some of these things are time sensitive. You could add some urgency to this. Hey, maybe you add your availability after the first step. You say, hey, looks like you're looking for a single person. We have one studio left. Sign up now or come in to see it today. That would drastically improve your conversion rate by just letting them know that there's a little bit of urgency. These units or beds they're not always available, and so that's not the community's fault. And to kind of frame this is, I came from an e-commerce background. I think of this in the context of upselling or cross-selling in the e-commerce world. Is they're really just doing that to increase their average order value on their website. So why wouldn't you try to do something to increase your average order value at your community? Yes, your rates are probably your rates, but you're going to get more move-ins from it. I guarantee it. Oh, I love this. Oh gosh, I've said this about every single one. I love every one of these. I'm so passionate about digital, but real people equal real leads. If you're using stock photos, boo on you. This is not what you need to be doing. Eliminate stock photos from your website. Be true. There's a, hire a professional photographer, a videographer to come to your facility, take professional photos. Yes, we all have iPhones and we all have Android devices, and yes, they take great pictures, but that doesn't mean you can take great pictures. And there's a reason that these professional photographers and videographers get paid to do this, because they're good at it. They've made a business out of taking pictures and videos. I'd probably trust them that they know what they're doing, because there's a whole lighting aspect to it. I don't understand it. I'm not a videographer. I'm not a photographer. But I know, as you can see, the pictures that we have, these are our real team members that you're seeing right now. And those were taken by a professional. And those are up on our website now. So we're trying to showcase our culture and our employees. So you should be doing the same thing. I know some of this is probably hard to do based on the fact that maybe your facility or your community doesn't look the way you want it to do. It's not perfect, but it's going to be less authentic when you put fake photos up there, not real photos of your facility, and they show up and they're like, I thought the building was white. And that's going to be such a turnoff from the consumer to go, gosh, they can't even represent themselves online. How are they going to treat me or my loved one? And then also keep them up to date. It doesn't mean you have to take it every month. You don't have to take new pictures. Your social media aspect of that is definitely different. Those can be, those are spur of the moment, or those are in real time of taking those pictures and they're posted to your social media. But when you're working on your website or you're updating your website, get some real photos taken and then split test it. Is male versus female, is two people together going to perform better? Try different aspects, split test these, create some A/B testing. Maybe again, use some dynamic content that allows your dynamic images that allows you to change these images based on how people are coming to your website. Oh yes, heat mapping. Too hot to touch. You're not going to want to engage with these landing pages when people are done implementing these tactics, because they're going to be so high. The so high at converting leads. It's just going to be unbelievable. But another aspect of getting this is adding a heat mapping tool to your website. There's few listed at the bottom. Hotjar is what we use internally. and then Crazy Egg and Lucky Orange. These are great, easy tools to implement on your website. And if you don't know what this is, I'll give you a slight education here on it. Is these dark red circles that you're seeing, that's where people are engaging. Yes, they're slightly off because, and this is one of my suggestions, is make sure the tool can split between mobile and desktop devices, because what you're seeing is there's a slight shift there because the mobile page renders slightly different than the desktop page. And like the call to speak with a local advisor, that converts into a button when someone views it on our mobile devices, or on their mobile device. And that's why you're seeing a green circle there with a little bit of contrasting color from the heat map there. But you can see that people are requesting more information, and this is just a great way. It's a great, I'm a visual person, and I know a lot of people are, specifically when they're in marketing or digital marketing. And this is just a great way to see, how people are engaging with this. Another aspect of this that I would build on top of, not just heat mapping, is, Google Tag Manager. I'll go back to the beginning of what we talked about. Google Tag Manager offers where you can see how far people are scrolling down on your website. That's another great tool to say, okay, how they're landing on the page, but are they even going past the fold? Are they even looking below it? That can give you an idea of what the content is. And then there's another aspect of it, which I really like that we've implemented on our own, is you can label your content pieces so like sections of your website, and you can have Google Tag Manager trigger out to say that they saw it. And so then you can start to build these great visualizations inside Google Analytics that says someone that saw this piece of content converts higher than someone that didn't see this piece of content. And that helps you to understand that we need to either elevate the content up on the website, or we need to create maybe a campaign focused around that content. So because it's obviously something that people are, excited about. And one of the things that we're currently testing is pricing, is displaying pricing, allowing to have a higher conversion rate versus people that are gating it, and letting the leads qualify themselves. We may see fewer people fill out the form on the website, but those leads might convert at a higher rate down funnel, which is what we want to see. It's not about clicks and impressions and form fills. It's about what happens down funnel. Questions? Have we had any questions, Felissa?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact. One of them was back when you were talking about testing. And I believe it was around, you were talking about content. Are there other areas that communities should be testing on their website? Well, maybe give us sort of an idea of the areas that they should be testing.
Yeah, so an area of that you could be testing is, I'll speak to it as like a landing page. A landing page, you could have a different type of image show up at the top of the page. You could have the form be slightly different. You could ask different types of questions. It depends on what is on their website. If they're doing, maybe the layout of the page is move. If you have different sections, you have your form at the top. You have maybe an information section that has different types of amenities or cares that you offer, or care that you offer. Maybe floor plans and stuff like that. Move those around. You might, like I said, track how far people are going down on your website, and see, what exactly are they looking at, and then what are they doing after they see it? Are they just leaving, or are they filling out a form? Or are they clicking to call? So those are some of the things.
Back on the heat mapping, how much does that cost?
It's not too expensive. Typically it's gauged around the number of people that are visiting your site per month. And so to talk specifically about how much that costs, that's a little bit hard, but I don't think it's any more than a few $100s, maybe even less than that. Again, it depends on how many website visits you're typically having to your site. So maybe a recommendation there is maybe start small, is don't put it on every page, maybe just put it on a few, see what information you get back from it. That way you're not investing too much money and you're seeing if there's a good return on it. It'd be a good way to do it.
One person wanted to know, does all of these things that you were talking about today, do they require the web developer, or is that something that the individual communities can do for themselves?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Not everything. It depends on how the community is currently managing their website. Majority of the clients that we engage with are using a WordPress platform, and WordPress is great. You can go in there and manipulate a lot of the content yourself, build your own pages yourself. It's not overly complicated. If you're not using WordPress, definitely I would say utilize it. It's a great tool. So yes and no. Yes, they might have to engage their web dev team. They might not have to. Also, there's tools out there that can sit on top of your website. Optimizely is one of them, and then Google Optimize is another one that allows you to change, subtle changes, maybe colors, different copy in the call to actions, so to speak. And so it just depends on what you want to do. Some of the more technical stuff, like dynamic content, yes, you're going to have to engage with a third-party platform tool that allows you to do it, or you're going to have your web team help you on that. So luckily we have some great partner clients that have great web dev teams that we can do that with them. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Daniels, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you for listening. We're definitely going to be doing this often. I think we're on a 3-week cadence, maybe once a month, but this is something we're really looking forward to offering more and more suggestions for people to improve their conversions. Yeah.
This is Hump Day Webinar.
Oh yeah, Hump Day
by
Webinar.
SeniorVu. And we hope you will share this with others if you found the information to be valuable.
Yeah, and last slide here. Call me, email me, whatever you want to do. I love to talk, and as one of our team members says here, and sometimes I like to listen too. So, but and then if have any questions about SeniorVu, please reach out to us at info@seniorvu.com. We are always welcome for feedback and questions. So, thank you everyone for attending, and we'll look forward to the next one.
Have a great day.